Well, welcome to Around Montgomery County. I'm your host, Sean Balent, and coming up later this month, there will be the Litchfield Chamber Awards Banquet. And among the honorees, the Educator of the Year. That was an award they started here just a couple of years ago, and Jami Pryor, the longtime teacher turned principal at Zion Lutheran School, has the honor this year. And Jami, thanks for joining us.
It is a pleasure to talk to you.
So there are two trains moving in the same direction as we do this interview. Those trains it's a big anniversary time for the school and church, and again, getting this honor, pretty exciting time here at Zion Lutheran.
It is. Our numbers are increasing for enrollment. We are blessed with wonderful facilities, excellent families, students, and especially our congregational support as well.
You know, we've talked a lot about the history of Montgomery County this decade with the Hillsborough bicentennial, the county bicentennial, and you really get into the origins. I talked to Hillsborough Methodist and went back 200 years, and kind of like the Constitution and the founders, the folks who started this thing got it right from the get-go and decided, you know what, in this community, we want to have a church and we want to have a school. They did.
The original building was Mark Steeran's State Farm office, where it currently is. Then the location was moved here, and there's been several building projects. We did have the original school building, which was not connected to the school. In the 70s, the part of the building that now houses our 3rd through 8th grade was constructed. And then in 2018, we underwent a very large building project and added on the Early Childhood Center, which is pre-K all the way up through 2nd grade. And at that time, demolition of the original schoolhouse was done because it was no longer economically or handicap accessible.
Well, you have to feel incredibly good about that, because I know in some areas private schools are struggling and sadly closing the doors. So to go in the other direction has to be pretty gratifying.
It absolutely is. It is a tremendous blessing. Just since I've been at Zion since 1999, whenever I came, Nokomis has closed their doors, and Godfrey closed the doors of their school. And it's just very disheartening to see those schools close like that. God just has definitely blessed us here, and we're able to continue to offer a very high quality education for our children.
It's a beautiful complex. I find it to be old school and contemporary at the same time.
That's a great way to describe it. Our students complete academic subjects just the same as they would in a public school setting, but with a spiritual aspect interwoven.
Early childhood, there's a lot of that conversation that comes up. I know in the past, the governor has brought up wanting more, of that in the public schools. And boy, that's an area, the early childhood to pre-K, you just continue to upgrade what you offer. And adapting to the realities of the last 30, 40 years, the two-income family, and how do we get child care? Because we see it. We see these families absolutely crushed by the burden of daycare costs and child care costs. So you really meet the parents of your students where they're at.
We do. We really try to look at what the needs are within our community. One area that we really saw a shortfall a few years ago was continuous care throughout the summer. So we started a summer care program for students who are enrolled at Zion for the upcoming school year, ages pre-K4 up through 5th grade. And it really has taken off and blossomed. And again, just another aspect for those students to receive continuous care throughout the summer with a faith-based focus.
I know in the public schools, especially with school boards and private, you get very resume driven. You can't just say, "Oh, I like the character of this person." So someone almost has to become an administrator and move on to another administrator job and another. And teaching gets to be pretty far in the rearview mirror. You started here as a teacher in 1999. You've been a principal here for 3 years, where you're just kind of hitting that stride, but I can imagine there are a lot of benefits to having teaching in your recent past.
And I still teach, actually. I teach each day English language arts for our 5th through 8th graders, and absolutely very much feel like an administrator doesn't want to lose focus with what is happening in the classroom. That is your first line to establishing relationships with those students and letting them know who you are. And it is so gratifying just to go out in our community and to have students and their families just come up and talk with me and feel comfortable enough to have that relationship with them.
Well, one thing's obvious when it comes to retention. They've kept you. That's obvious.
Yes.
Talking you into school building. But retention of personnel is another strength here where it really is... I'm known to make fun of the concept of work family or that term, but in these halls, it seems to be a fit.
It is. It definitely is. We are blessed to know that all of our staff is returning for this upcoming school year. After COVID, we did go through a pretty high turnover in staff, and it's just great to know that people tend to gravitate towards where there is stability, and that is offered to them here.
So talking about teachers, the teacher-to-student ratio must be magical.
It's wonderful. Right now, our 8th grade class is 3-1. Our 4th grade class is 6-1. Most other classes, the largest that we have is 16-1.
That's pretty hard to top.
And we aim to have offer that smaller class size. It provides several unique opportunities for our students because they do receive more individualized academic focus, but they also get to participate and do some things that if there were 30 students in that classroom, probably it wouldn't happen.
I know if they try to do that at the Litchfield School District, we'd have a revolt because I don't know what the property tax bill would look like.
Exactly.
But, just the nature of the beast that you can't match that in the public school sector.
Right.
So that's special, and I think of this in terms of like being a mechanic. When you talk about a student who's falling behind in a category and helping them along the way, I can imagine you can do a lot of troubleshooting and catch a student going in the wrong direction academically or other areas. Just getting along, dealing with bullying and everything else, get to a problem sooner and kind of turn the ship around.
Yes, absolutely. There's very much a whole child focus where we look not only at, what is their academic work like, but also how can we minister and help and assist the family in their parental responsibility. Parents are their children's first teachers. And so we want to walk alongside parents in that responsibility. And, we have our pastor who can offer spiritual care. Our children gather every Wednesday for chapel service, and that again just promotes that spiritual aspect of what sets us apart.
I know the governor brought it up. I've seen Hillsborough Public Schools said, hey, you know what, we're not going to allow the phone in the classroom. And I can imagine from day one that's been one of the strengths here, that you have done everything you can to keep technology from being a negative, only a positive classroom tool.
I would completely agree with that. Now, on the flip side of that, technology has many benefits, but it can't be the end-all, be-all. And so we're very careful about how we integrate technology into our curriculum. We are blessed with very updated technology. We're one-to-one Chromebooks for our students from first grade up through 8th grade. But we still, each student has a textbook for their subjects. And our kindergarten students are on iPads. We don't want them to be unaware of and unable to function in today's technology-driven society.
I know one of the things that stands out in this area, we saw it with the creation of SCI, the spirit of cooperation. I think when there was that talk of merging the public schools, it was maybe it might have grinded some gears and everything. Well, we're not ready to say goodbye to our mascot. But, boy, in the years since, SCI, the way the superintendents work together, but that doesn't stop at SCI. It doesn't stop at public schools. You have some great coordinated efforts with the public schools here in Litchfield.
Yes, we are very thankful for the public school system here in Litchfield. Our students are able to utilize the bus system. Our students are able to participate in the band program starting in 6th grade. And then also students who are in need of additional help with learning difficulties can receive some special education services here on site.
I know special ed, that is an area where funding is challenged in some areas. There's so much competition for personnel. So what a benefit to have that. And I know it's obviously important to catch the problems sooner rather than later, because it seems like the boundaries of students who benefit from special ed is expanded, and there's been a better effort to identify whether it's a situation on the spectrum or whatever the case may be.
Right. We even are so happy to partner with Locust Street Counseling Services. They provide, through a grant that they applied for, a counselor that comes to our school to even look at their mental health benefits and to just make sure that our students, again, that whole child is focused and healthy and ready to learn each day.
Well, Educator of the Year, chosen by the Chamber of Commerce for this year's award. I can imagine you were floored.
Absolutely. It came as quite a shock. I had no idea I was even in the running on this one.
And I can imagine that there's added appreciation for that, because, certainly there are benefits you can get in the public sector teaching as an administrator now that maybe a little more than what you get here, but you're here for a reason. It's something you have a great passion for, obviously. This has got to be a nice payoff, because sometimes the payoffs aren't counted in dollars and cents.
Correct. We are not equally paid as our public school counterparts. However, our benefits come through those small class sizes, the programs that we can offer, the families that we work with. We have tremendous parental support here at Zion. Just the added opportunities that we can offer to our students. And so for me personally, to know that the work that I'm doing in those areas is being recognized by people within our community means just a tremendous amount. But again, it's not anything that I'm striving for. This is just part of what I do because I love to do it.
Well, this school has a lot of friends in the community. I know you'll see them at the awards dinner coming up on the 14th. At the Gudgel Ranch, those folks are passionate about this place. And my main man, medium-sized Ed Wernsing, the man is everywhere.
He is.
He's at every Blues game, no matter the record. If they're 12-46, Ed's out there cheering them on.
You got it.
He just, he's a big deal when it comes to helping out, but he doesn't make a big deal of himself.
Absolutely. We are so blessed with the community support. I know Ed himself, his quote is, he would be totally incorrigible if it weren't for Zion Lutheran. And I think there's so many other students who really look back on the foundation of education that they received here as being such a benefit to them.
Yeah, and you talk about success in life and character education, but academically, you set him up because he went to, I'm trying to remember if he went to U of I engineering school or something like that. Something, where, they really, they look through every academic resume with a fine-tooth comb.
Right. And again, we want our students to excel no matter what they do, whether that's go into a college career, whether it's go straight into the workforce, whatever. Whenever they leave Zion for their after 8th grade, we want them to be successful, but to know that they have a secure academic foundation and spiritual foundation that they're taking with them.
What is your favorite part of being an educator? And as you said, you're still in the classroom and then also kind of handling the big picture.
I love that no 2 days are the same. I love my students with an absolute passion, and I love the joy that they bring me no matter what what grade level it is. I love going into preschool and kindergarten classes and getting hugs galore. I love going into first and second grade classes and hearing these students find success as they're starting to read. Third and fourth grade classes as they're starting to expand on higher level thinking. And fifth through eighth grade as they're starting to think about the future. It's amazing.
Well, I know you partied like it was 1999 when you started here, because it was 1999. But and partying in a
and by partying you mean
way.
Go to sleep by 9 o'clock. Yes.
There you go. A little Golden Girls and Murder, She Wrote. But this, looking back to the young woman who walked up to these doors in 1999, did you imagine you'd still be here in 2025? And what was your initial career view?
That's interesting that you ask that. I went to the University of Nebraska in Lincoln for my undergraduate work and taught. I actually managed a Hallmark store while I was going to college. And then I taught, after I graduated, I taught 1 year at the Lutheran school that was affiliated with our church out in Nebraska. And my Aunt Donna Kernich, who passed away a few years ago, she knew that I just wanted to be back in this area so badly. My dad is from Springfield. My mom actually is from this area and went to Zion herself as a child. And they knew that I wanted to be back in this area. And so from Nebraska, I came, and it has truly been a tremendous blessing ever since. If I looked back and I think, wow, I can't believe that I've been here all these years, but I truly hope that this is where my career comes to an end, too.
Were you ever tempted to have a Zion Lutheran figurine little store off to the side?
No, I get enough, little trinkets from the kids.
The Hallmark stores, there are definitely some survivors, but it's kind of a lost art. Nothing quite smells like a Hallmark store.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. I don't know that the halls here, especially in the 5th through 8th grade classrooms, don't have quite that smell.
So, now, this is off the academic realm, but what would you do to fix the Huskers in football? That they get up to that line where they looks like they're ready to recover. Just hard to imagine. I know under Dr. Tom Osborne, year after year they were
a
right
powerhouse.
There. Yeah,
a powerhouse. Matt Rule's working on it, but they just also had to suffer a pretty high blow from many of their scholarships being taken away. And so just putting in that work ethic and getting the old Husker work ethic and offensive line and defensive line, they didn't have those big farm kids for a while like they used to have back in the 80s and 90s.
No Dave Remington.
No.
That's tough, but a special place. A special place to go to school, I know, academically, athletically, and otherwise. But this job, certainly looking at the way you talk about it, it doesn't seem like you're looking at retirement brochures. It just seems like you want to be here a while longer.
I sure do. I tell the kids, just if something happens, step over me, not on me.
Oh, I love it. Well, what at this place, I think of this church and school. Maybe not everybody would want to live next to the hustle and bustle with the buses and everything at the playground, but that's some people. I just feel like this thing is like a beautiful seed that just spreads good spirit for blocks around the neighborhood around it.
It is. I like to talk about Zion and Litchfield being a little hidden gem just in our community. It amazes me how many people still within our community actually aren't even aware of where we are. We are blessed through many community grants. Our playground actually came to be through many of the community grants that are offered. And we have people, if you drive by, there's people on that playground all the time from the community. And that's just one door that can be opened for them to get here and just to hear what great things are happening here.
Well, you mentioned Nokomis losing their school. Have you seen a number of those students come here? Or you picked up a few? Or I know that's kind of a tough day-to-day commute.
It is. We do have several students from surrounding communities. We have Witt, we have Mount Olive, Carlinville, Raymond. It is amazing to me the support that we have for our school from the surrounding communities as well.
Well, I know people not only open up their pocketbooks for private schools, but put in a little sweat for fundraisers and everything else. And that's a 12-month-a-year job. People really go that extra mile.
I'm sure you probably seen the press releases that came out after we had our second annual Walking in Truth Gala. The community just poured out their hearts with blessings upon us, and we were able to raise over $113,000 through that endeavor. It amazes me that a little school of 101 students can have that kind of response, and that just goes to show the support that we have from our students, their families, our congregation, and especially this community. They just are so generous to us.
Anything else going on here that just excites you about the direction of this school?
I think looking ahead, of course, we want more students to be involved in our student body. We want more families to be here with us and just to share with us all of the great things that are truly happening here. It is an exciting place to be each and every day. I never feel like I'm coming to work. I get to come here.
Yeah, I have myself on a like a pitcher has like a pitch count limit. I try to limit Springfield references because I spent a bunch of years up there. But the interesting thing I found from Springfield Lutheran is that they've had more and more students come into their school who aren't Lutheran. Is that a trend you're seeing here?
Absolutely. We are 70% non-church member, 30% member, and a higher number of our students each year are coming from unchurched families, families that have no church home, and we feel blessed to be able to open our doors and include them in our school family.
And that's a beautiful thing because now we're talking about propping up the church, and I know that mainline religions have battled some trends, and the mega mall churches wherever, and just another example of people having an opportunity to circle the wagons, and people who do it the old school way, involved in the community. And I'm trying not to cross any lines here, but we don't have that kind of venue in this area.
Right.
But some places, it's like a business. The preacher has a contract. Well, I get off Christmas. I mean, to me, if you get off Christmas, you're not a preacher in my book. I'll throw that opinion out there.
Yeah.
So this is this is a great support system, and again, I imagine you have some folks who, and I think I'm going to go to school in church here.
Yes. It's always interesting whenever we have unchurched families, how our staff really tries to reach out to those families and offer our church as an option for them.
That has to be meaningful, too, because, hey, these are difficult times. We talk about the challenges families face, the financial pressures, the social issues, and boy, you really have a chance to be impactful there.
Absolutely. It's interesting. Our pastor has baptized over the last 10 years that he's been here, has baptized 20 children, not necessarily infants, but 20 children that came as a result of being students here at the school.
The thing I love about the Lutheran religion, I'm Catholic, but so much of the script is familiar. So it's like, I know that part.
And we do have Catholic families here as well.
And that's another thing that hits me. We have seen some, there were, in the heyday, there was an incredible amount of Catholic. I'll use Springfield as an example, and I think I've used my two mention allotment for the month now, but they've had a lot of Catholic schools close.
Right.
And they've struggled with price point, and they're bringing their students, families bringing their students to Springfield Lutheran. So it is it's interesting where the walls between us are maybe made of drywall instead of concrete.
Right. as we encourage students, we're all brothers and sisters in Christ. And yes, students will be taught through Lutheran doctrine here, but our primary focus is that they know Jesus died on the cross and rose again to save them from their sins.
It's just kind of neat we can even have that conversation, because I think if I tried that 10 years ago, people would hyperventilate.
I agree. It's and I think that speaks to our community as well, that we can have that conversation and not cause great division because of it.
Well, Jami Pryor, congratulations. Look forward to it. And what a capper. This I know this is a one of a kind moment, but the tough part is you get the honor. Now you have to have a speech. And
I don't think I'll have any trouble coming up with words.
Sounds good. Well, if you run into trouble or laryngitis, let me know. We can just play this.
Excellent plan.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.